So, we've already talked about suiting up and scanning, and these are your basic building blocks. Okay, know yourself, know your surroundings. Sounds familiar? Sounds like Sun Tzu, right? Then you're ready for battle. Now, surviving is not yet the battle. Surviving is just a natural instinct for self-preservation. For some of us, maybe we don't have enough resources. What we need to do is just to survive. We can't fight any battles yet. We just need to survive. We'll fight our battles some other day. That's okay. But if you're ready and you've checked that already, you've already survived, and you're okay, then you need a predetermined purpose, a decision to go further and commit to a new beginning, which is the next stage. And for me, my metaphor here is Soar. I like this guy because he soars, high above. Okay. When you have a stable strategy square, it wasn't bothered by the pandemic, then you're ready to soar. If you're already a survivor, you've checked all of those boxes and you're okay, then you're ready to soar. Okay, so our metaphor, like I said, is the Lord of Thunder. He takes a grand view of opportunities and threats and can decisively win a battle all by himself. More than just surviving, he seeks victory. More than just, he simply don't just be a survivor, but be a warrior. That's what I say. Okay, we need to have a warrior mindset, especially these days when all of these forces are acting upon us. When it is an unfamiliar ground that we're treading on, we need to have a different kind of mindset, a warrior mindset. More than aggressiveness and determination, it is about overcoming challenges and adversity. It's about possessing, understanding, and being able to utilize a set of psychological and physical skills that allow someone to be effective, adaptive, and persistent. Make no mistake, this pandemic will test you to your limits. It will ask of you to dig deep into your vast store of knowledge, experience, and creativity. It will force you to rethink the way you've been doing business. As part of your market shifts away, a new segment emerges. As needs of your customers change, new opportunities to serve them will also show. How you move will be determined by both insight and gut feel. But if you know yourself well and have looked deep into the future clearly, remember, suit up and scan, then you can move more confidently towards the new normal. Okay? So, what you want now is having a good understanding of where you are and where you want to go. Then you need a plan to move forward to the next step. And you want to do that with a strong, determination and will. How do you soar? I'm going to present you with 4 possible tools you can use. Okay? These tools range from simple to the more complex. Okay, so I think we've talked about strategy square already. I'm going to go to that again, but we'll start with a simple tool called the now, next, and the new. Now this tool here, okay, allows us to do a quick assessment of what we need to do. It's an action planning tool, and you can use it immediately for yourself, your team, or your department, or your company even. So you ask yourselves, what are the things I need to do now? Creative strategy. What are the things I need to do next? Thinking ahead, one step ahead, and plan for how to deliver value to customers, soon, and maintain, keep the momentum going. And eventually, new, what are the things that are not yet happening but I should do in order for us to keep the momentum going, over time. You might want to use a tool like this, right? This one is a, metric to optimize your business. You can use the now, next, new tool for this, like repurpose your team. What do you need to do now, to repurpose your team? For example, now I'm going to identify I'm going to take an inventory of my team's current skills, capabilities, and limitations. I can do that right now. Next, I'm going to leverage on my team's some strengths so that I can meet the changing requirements of the market. So I can make sure that customer service will not drop. And the new, having identified the gaps in my team's skill set, I'm going to plan on a training program so that they can close the gaps in our service. Let's talk about updating your products or service. So, realizing that the markets have changed because of the new normal, and there are and some of the products we offer are no longer required, and there are new demands of the marketplace. What are the things I can do now? What I can do now is identify which of my products or my service is still applicable, right? And make sure that I offer that to my customers right now, and maybe even offer a discount so that customers will buy that. Next, I'm going to identify where the gaps are. Again, where my products and the customer's needs are not matching. You may use these 10 metrics. You may add your own. You may identify what are the essential steps or activities that you need, and then write it down in this table, and then do a now, next, and new. That's very simple. Even your teams can do that. This is an exercise that you can do within an hour to get your plans going. In our workshop, and then I'm just going to promote the workshop here that we're having. We're going to use the strategies to assess where you are currently, where you are after the pandemic, and where you should be in the future. So the strategy square is an efficient tool to use for strategy and action planning. And I already mentioned the 4 dimensions of the strategy square, and we've already talked about the Starbucks example. I'd like to give you another example of the strategy square. We're using it now for Jollibee. It's everywhere. It has physical stores. It has delivery and drive-through. It offers, burgers, fast food. It's a family place. It's practically for everyone, especially the class C, D, and E. But even the A's and the B's would still go to Jollibee, right? And they understand what customers want. The problem is, because of the pandemic, a lot of things have changed, right? So what has happened to the Jollibee strategy square? So maybe they want to order for delivery or drive-through, but that wasn't enough. Jollibee started to look at, because of the changes, they started to look at other things, like maybe offering ready-to-cook meals that are sold in supermarkets. That's one of the things they can consider, because not all of their customers can now go to their stores, right? Jollibee and their partner companies have started to offer ready-to-cook meals. As we said, these are now found in groceries, because now they're saying, if the market cannot come to us, we can go to the market by offering these meals that they can get through groceries. And here's another one. A company called Sprout Solutions. They're now offering cloud-based solutions. A company called Point Blue, who are in the real estate business, because and rentals, because their customers can't come to their, physically. They can't rent out to their typical market. They're expanding the market. And finally, a company called For Me, selling fashion and basic, fashion accessories, are now have repositioned their production and are now producing, PPEs for health workers. These are more complicated tool, but this one takes your strategy square and allows you to now visualize the different components of it. Okay, the BMC allows you to assess your business idea or concept. It's a one-page document containing 9 boxes that represent different fundamental elements of a business. Okay, so the right side looks at the customer, and in the middle, what binds it all together is the value proposition. I won't be able to go through this in detail today, but I just want to let you know that as part of your planning for the future, this is a higher model tool that you can use. And finally, once you're ready with action plans, another tool that you might consider using is called the logic model. So this has been used for over 20 years by program managers and evaluators to describe the effectiveness of their programs. The model describes logical linkages among program resources, activities, outputs, audiences. So in more complex organizations that have a lot of moving parts and your strategy is so complicated, you can use the logic model to simplify your action plans into its attendant components, and it all gets rolled up to the grand strategy. Okay, but we're not going to be in the workshop that we're planning to have. We're not even going to use the logic model or the business model canvas yet. We'll focus more on the simpler strategy fit frameworks, particularly the strategy square. So, in summary, here are some tools that we can use for planning for the future. So how do we prepare for the new normal? Let's just review what we talked about already in the past 45 minutes or so. Talked about four factors or four pillars. Suiting up, scanning, surviving, and soaring. Okay, and we said suiting up means assessing ourselves, our strengths, our weaknesses. It's an internal review. Scanning means looking around at the surrounding, what's going on around us, what are the areas of threats and opportunities, and where is it going, what's going to happen in the near future. Number 3, survive. Are we strong enough already to compete, or are we still reeling from the uncertainties that are happening around us? And then when we've done all of this, we're ready now for the future. We're ready now to execute our new strategy. So, in detail, it's the same things we talked about here. The planning horizons could change, but then this is all part of this program, and we would like to work with you in helping you build this. It will be easy to do your own internal assessment or external assessment, but we can also help you walk through the whole process in order to get to the future better. Martin Luther King, essentially he says, if you can't walk, crawl, but by all means keep moving, right? No matter where you are, this pandemic is affecting us all in one way or another, but we need to get moving forward. The last thing you would like is to stay in place. So whether you're surviving or you're thriving, you need to move forward to your next destination for your business. Growth must be chosen again and again. There are risks, but then you need to overcome your fear again and again.